Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Wisdom Wednesday. So, today we have the full moon in Leo giving us this beautiful opportunity to really start getting curious and reflective on the structures and routines that we are still doing that maybe no longer serve us. And you want to know why you're hanging on to those? It's because those structures and routines help you to feel safe when you feel uncertain, when you're afraid of the unknown. Those structures of, I know what to do and I know how to do it, they make us feel really safe. But what they're actually doing is, at least the way that we're using them, is they're creating a cage of our own making that's stopping us from the flow of creativity, stopping us from the flow of inspiration, and really stopping us from being the authentic co-creators that we are. And this was a realization that I came to because I noticed that I was so regimented in my routine. I mean, I can tell you to the minute what I was going to do. Wake up at 5 and, use the restroom, go get a drink of water, sit, come back to my room, sit on my bed, set up my day with spirit. What do I want to feel? What do I want to experience? Right after that, then go do a 15 to 20-minute home workout, then come back to my room, read A Course in Miracles, journal about it, then go sit down, do a meditation to see if there's any messages for the day. If there's not, go to the cards. If then going to the cards, write out the message for the week. Then after that, go get some breakfast and then walk the dog by 9 a.m. Like that was the regiment. And I realized that what I was doing was I had built myself a cage. And I built this cage because I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel certain. And this isn't about us throwing away our structures, throwing away our routines and saying, no, I'm just going to throw myself into the unknown. We're not going to do that to ourselves because we know that's not going to work. We know we're going to go back to those routines because we're not going to feel safe. And so what we have to do, or what we're going to attempt to do, is be more intentional with the activities that we are going to be doing in whatever way, shape, or form. And we are doing that because there's nothing inherently wrong with structure. There's nothing inherently wrong with routine. It's just when it becomes that cage that stops creativity, inspiration, and flow, because that's what it did for me. It stopped all of that because there was no room for spirit. If everything is so regimented, so structured, where is there room for spirit to come in and give you a surprise? Where is there room for spirit to give you a little gentle nudge to say, hey, you might want to go this way, or hey, you might want to try this? There is none because you've already decided what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So there's no room for inspiration. There's no room for guidance because you are so structured and you're like, nope, I've already decided this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to walk this way and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. No room. So we start to become more intentional. And that just means that we're allowing ourselves to still engage in the structure, engage in the routine, but instead of making it so rigid of this has to happen then, this has to happen then, we are going to really tune in and we're going to start asking ourselves the important question of, why am I doing this? Because again, remember, our structures help us to feel safe. They help us to feel secure, but they can also be a part of spiritual bypassing, where we use them in order for us to kind of be like, well, I'm going to go do this, instead of sit with this feeling of uncomfortableness. And that reminds me of the Pleiadian message that the Pleiadians delivered through me last week, which was start getting comfortable with uncertainty. And it's not about knowing exactly what to do. It is about taking that step back and just becoming more intentional. Okay, why am I doing this? Why am I engaging in this routine? Am I doing it because it's still serving me, or am I doing it because it feels comfortable? Am I doing this because it still serves me, or am I doing this because I don't want to face these feelings? And just asking yourself, being honest. And today, tomorrow, and even on Friday, wonderful days to start that process because we don't realize how much pressure psychologically we're putting on ourselves to, get it right, to do this, to do that. And we just have to gently begin to release that pressure. And that means letting go of some things that don't serve us anymore, like these structures, like these routines. And something I want to invite you to do, if you feel so inclined, is maybe tomorrow or maybe sometime today, instead of doing a normal structured activity, maybe you stop and you place your hands over your heart chakra or your physical heart. Either way, doesn't matter. And you just take that deep breath in through your nose, because that breath brings us back to the present moment and we're focusing on our heart because that's where our hand is. So we're focused there. We're coming into this present moment. And maybe we ask, what feels like my most aligned action? My heart says. And then you could just answer the first thing. But what I want to caution you with is this. Don't just go with what feels comfortable because you're going to have a really big pull towards what feels comfortable. Well, I'm going to go wash the dishes because that's what I normally do at 3 o'clock, we'll just say. And so you're going to feel that pull. And that's okay that you're going to feel that. But instead of going with just what feels comfortable, let's go with what feels expansive, what feels maybe just a little bit different. And I'm going to tell you, at least from my perspective, the day one that I did this, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to do it. Right. And so I sat there and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And what I did was instead of really tuning in and doing that, I just said, well, I'll just meditate first. Easy, simple. Well, let me tell you, that was not the aligned action step because that was one of the most uncomfortable meditations I had ever done. It just was uncomfortable. My back hurt. I just couldn't focus. I didn't feel like I was breathing right. Like there was so much judgment coming up because I had just really thrown myself just into something new. And I don't want you to have that same experience. Don't throw yourself into doing something new because then the next day, I mean, I can tell you that whole first day I tried it, everything felt off because I was just trying to mix things up instead of really tuning in and doing aligned action. So maybe this will help you, and maybe you'll find something else that'll help you from what I'm about to share. What I did the next morning was I sat there and in my mind, I saw 3 arrows. Okay. And it was just something visual for me. One said meditation and breath work, one said reading and journaling, and one said working out. And I just took that deep breath in and I said, okay, spirit, what feels like my most aligned action here? And I took that deep breath in. And then I just allowed my focus to kind of drift to whichever one felt, again, that expansiveness. And again, that's when it came up. It said read and journal. And I said, okay. So I read and I journaled and I got these beautiful insights. And then instead of going just to the next activity as I normally would, I stopped. I took that deep breath in and I said, okay, spirit, what's my aligned next action step? Tuning in. I just saw the 2 arrows. Either it was meditation and breath work or it was working out. Which one felt the most expansive? And you know what felt expansive? It wasn't doing the breath work and meditation. It felt like going to go work out. So that's what I went to go do. And then I came back to my room and, the only thing left to do was the breath work and the meditation. And this time it was amazing. It was phenomenal. I got wonderful insights, wonderful messages, felt so aligned. And that's what I started to then apply to the rest of the day. So it's just about being intentional and asking about that aligned step and asking yourself why you're doing it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with scrolling on your phone. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with watching TV. But what you want to do is, or then there's nothing wrong with walking your dog. There's nothing wrong with doing the dishes, doing the laundry, like whatever. There's nothing wrong, inherently wrong with those activities. What we want to do is we want to check in. Why am I really participating in this? Is it because I'm trying to hide from something? Is it because right now I don't feel safe and secure and I'm going to this to feel safe and secure? Like just paying attention to that and being intentional. You know what? I'm going to go work out because I'm set at this. It just feels good. It feels expansive. It feels like the next right action to embark upon. And then as you go throughout your day, you can start building that up more and more and more. And what you're actually doing is you're not building up your resistance to uncertainty. You're building up your trust with spirit because you're going to start noticing, wow, I'm getting these little nudges, just these slight little, maybe it's just a little whisper in your ear. Maybe it's just a thought that drops in, a feeling that you have, a thought that just drops in. And you're going to start noticing that because why? You're giving spirit more floor room than the ego. And again, there's nothing wrong with having the structure. There's nothing wrong with having the routine. Again, it's about that awareness of it. Why am I doing this? What's the real reason? What am I feeling right now as I'm doing this? Am I just going into autopilot or am I really feeling inspired? Am I just doing this because it's something different? Or am I doing this because I feel a call to it? So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. If you're curious to learn more about me or my services, or just want more motivation and inspiration, of course, you can go here to the community tab here on YouTube. You can check out my website as well as my Facebook page, which is down in the description below. And thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you most of all for taking this opportunity to become present and available so that you can be that divine co-creator, open to inspiration, open to guidance, open to flow, so that you can really show up authentically and co-create something beautiful because you are needed and so are your gifts. And it's time we step out of the shadows and step into the divine light that we are. Sending you all my love.